blood rascals out there? Two favorite uncles are back here for Cinephellas. I am Logan Myers. That's my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Hill, and we are back, and we are excited to talk about another horror movie here in 2025. I had watched this at the cinema. Uncle Logan has just watched this. It's now on digital. Very excited to finally dive in to Osgood Perkins' latest film. It's a Stephen King adaptation from one of his books, and it's got a lot of gore in it. It's very sinister. We're talking about the monkey.
Oh, fuck.
That's right. I have been so excited to see this movie. I've been, talking to you about it each week for like a few months since it was released, and you're like to the point, like, shut up about it. A huge fan of Osgood Perkins, directed my favorite film of last year, Longlegs. Loved it. Of course, Gretel and Hansel and other films. Really love his stylistic approach as being a director. You see a movie and like, that's an Osgood Perkins movie. And this is yet another great example of that. Great director. And with the monkey, of course, adapted from the short story by Stephen King, the king of horror. Really, the setup here has to do with these twins, Hal and Bill Shelburne. And the setup of the film is their father, played by Adam Scott of all actors, has this monkey essentially, and it starts killing people.
That's really all you need to know for this film. The great kill sequences in this film, they're phenomenal. This is a different tone from Osgood Perkins here. A lot of dark humor, and Tatiana Maslany, especially from the get-go, she's the mom of Hal and Bill, these twin boys. You kind of find out that the Adam Scott's character was their father. He left behind this monkey. It's monkey. One of the brothers is a prick, a real asshole, a bully. Doesn't like the younger brother, torments him, tortures. Anyways, the monkey gets involved, and as soon as the monkey is taken out of the box, people start dying, essentially, in really sinister and creative ways. A lot of interesting kills here. And, this, once you get used to the tone here, it really draws you in. It's a really fun tone. It's, dark humor here, and it gets really brutal and, a really fun watch, a really easy watch, not too long, flies by, and led by a really terrific double performance by Theo James, of course, who's had a lot of great roles recently. Gentleman, TV show, one of the last ones. And he's phenomenal in this, playing both of the brothers as they're growing up, still not getting along. And for a while there, it shows them as kids and all the bad things that happen with the monkey. They try to get rid of the monkey, but eventually the monkey is unleashed upon the earth again. Terrible deaths start piling up again, and it brings the brothers back together after being apart for a while and living separately, but always living in fear that something was going to pop up again and happen. And sure enough, it does.
Yeah, it's like a possessed and evil toy. We haven't heard of that before with all the movies, especially, starting with Chucky and Child's Play. Of course, coming across kids, this evil toy that they unleash by turning the key and it starts killing random people close to them, and try to get rid of it. Of course, you can't kill evil. The toy comes back 25 years later. They're adults, Bill and Hal, and they're both depressed in different ways. They were scarred as young kids, seeing people that they loved killed right in front of them in the most violent and gross way possible. And that's a good segue for the practical effects in this film were outstanding. I didn't think this movie would get that violent, but it got violent very quickly. Early on in the movie, caught me off guard. I'm all about that, blood and guts, but it took it to another level. People blowing up limbs, guts, everything falling on them, and just a really great job. Really showing that sort of violence and bringing that over from the Stephen King novel to, the big screen. I thought that was really, really well done and one of my favorite parts about the movie. And also doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a comedy in some ways. It's funny, a dark comedy, but
Hmm.
really the practical effects is what stood out to me and the most brutal death scenes you can think of.
That's definitely the standout. So practical effects looks terrific. I loved the sequence with all the fishing lures and hooks, and it getting caught into a character's face. There's a lot of really inventive kills along the way, and you get a sense of the monkey itself and the evil behind it, and the way things end up. It's like an ancient evil, basically, all having to do with, the apocalypse and, even taking from Revelations in the Bible, the four horsemen of the apocalypse and that final scene is a real standout to me too, who the twins see there at the end. Some really cool scenes here. Love the humor. Love the tone of this movie, mixing in the dark humor. And, from the mom's perspective, all this chaos is going around her. And she always is, using comedy to lighten the situation, even in the most darkest of dark moments with people dying all around them. And these kids are obviously traumatized, you know, beyond any repair. And it shows in their performance from when they were kids all the way until, they're adults. And Theo James in the dual role here plays each, very well, different personalities. One's obviously, the aggressor, one's more timid and passive. And eventually, in order to hopefully get rid of the evil, they're going to have to work together. And that's what they do in the film. And, I had a really good time with this movie. This was fun to watch in the movies. I was cheering all the practical effects, all the inventive kills here from the opening scene with Adam Scott. This monkey isn't something that you want to fuck around with. And Osgood Perkins did a great job on this movie. Unlike anything he's ever did, he really gets to show off here, show his comedic side. He gets to act in it. He shows up in a role in here. Very cool cameo from him. And yeah, I had a blast with the monkey. After seeing a couple duds in a row at the movie theater, going in to see the monkey, I was very happy with this film. And this is right up there in 2025 for horror and black comedy, along with Companion for me.
Definitely would agree with you. I was thinking the companion and the monkey right now, hitting the favorites of the year thus far. Very excited to see this. Really pleased with the final product here. I thought everything across the board was a great time. Hour and 30 minutes, it flies by. Fall into this world as twins, this evil toy. By the way, is very scary looking. The toy itself, like in the corner of the room when they're kids, I'm like, oh, freaked
Yeah,
me out, and it keeps showing
really
up. So
creepy.
whoever designed that, they did a great job. And this time around, it's the drum instead of the cymbals. Of course, the monkey and the cymbals, the toy from Toy
Hmm.
Story. They couldn't do the
Yeah.
cymbals, so they did the drum, which is really cool. It starts hitting the drum, and then somebody dies. And I thought that was really great inventive kills. A few that stand out to me without giving too much away. Swimming pool, closet with the shotgun, and another cool on bees. I'll leave it at that. Those are really
Yeah.
interesting and made me stand up and clap because I love the practical effects. But really had a great time with this. Theo James playing the dual role here as kids, 25 years later as adults, being a really, kind of secluded dad. He only sees this kid once a year. And that opens up the relationship with his son Petey, played by Colin O'Brien. I thought that was pretty interesting,
Hmm.
trying to get this relationship with his father. His father's a nut job because of everything that happened to him, the trauma in his life. So they're trying to put this relationship together on top of the monkey killing people and the son trying to find out more of his dad's past and finding out he had a twin. So that was kind of cool angle of the movie and cool relationship. And I really did think, father and son, I thought that was really good. They did a great job with that. But movie overall, had a great time with this. Osgood Perkins being one of my new favorite directors. Loved his role in the movie. I think he played two roles, but definitely the uncle I thought was really funny. Love the pork
Hmm.
chop sideburns and the rest of the ensemble. Tatiana Maslany big fan of hers. I loved her role as a mom in this film, and of course the kids, playing the twins early on in the movie. All across the board, great practical effects, great horror, great comedy. Great kill scenes, spooky ass toy, and a movie I'll
Yep.
definitely rewatch. So I'm glad I got a chance to finally get around to this. So with that being said, I'm gonna give Osgood Perkins, the monkey. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Theo James hairpieces.
Loved it from the start here, from the opening scene. Tatiana Maslany was a standout for me as the mom. She did a great job. Osgood Perkins gets to show more of his directing talent in this film. He's on a roll. Long Legs, The Monkey, and there's another film after this. There's a small preview for it at the end of the credits. So if you watch for that, definitely. And this was a Neon film, I believe, right? Yep. So
Yep.
Neon, establishing, and further cementing its status as a horror production company. You can always count on Neon and A24 right up there together. A lot of great kills, great acting, you know, unsettling in certain scenes with the monkey. Very creepy design there. Loved what they did with that. The tone, everything about it. Yeah, this was a really awesome movie. Really enjoyed watching this in the theater. And I am going to give the horror comedy film, The Monkey, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 Osgood Perkins hair pieces.
So I want to hear from all you collectibles enthusiasts out there. What did you like about the monkey? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the drum and hit subscribe. Also, check out these wild Chicago dads on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
That's right. And we're going to be back all year long. We can't wait to dive into some more of 2025's horror. There's been a lot of great horror movies lately. We feel kind of spoiled here. Been talking a lot of, really awesome horror movies to come along, and there's plenty to come in the following months here, getting into the summer movie season, along with all the other, movies and shows that are going to be dropping. We just got that news. The Friday the 13th series is moving forward. We got Pamela Voorhees cast, Linda Cardinelli. That's exciting. It's finally moving forward. A lot to look forward to, and, horrors kicking off in 2025. And we've been pleasantly excited and enthused by what we've seen. Can't wait to see more from Osgood Perkins. And we can't wait to review more horror and movies and TV shows all year long for all of you. Thank you so much. So this wraps up our review of Osgood Perkins, The Monkey. We'll be back soon for more horror reviews. I'm Uncle Henry.
And I'm Uncle C.C. DeVille, who's the House of Horrors and the House of Horrors. Until the next movie review, talk dirty to me.